Welcome back. Today I have a project that I'm making for my craft fair that I wanted to share with you. This is not an original project to me. I got the idea from Amber at Lyric Lover Crafts. She does a lot of crafting on her channel, does a lot of craft fairs. Only difference is she used cardstock for this cover. I am using chipboard. I like to use chipboard. I like to make things more durable so that they can be longer lasting and more of a keepsake. On this one, I did this, she did not. I put a rivet in here to put one of my bead tassels on there. This is the one I've created for here. It's all Christmas themed. And also, when I did my tutorial on this, I talked about using one of those rings, book rings on here. Found these lobster claws. I like them a lot better. I think it really elevates the project. So that's what I'm using now, is lobster claws instead of book rings. So anyway, let me get all this out of the way. This is what we're making today. Here we have 3 pockets. We have a long pocket and 2 shorter pockets. We have a, I don't know what you'd call it, a booklet in here that is sewn in with the pamphlet stitch where you can put all your pictures. I did this as more of a Christmas keepsake. I will be showing this more in Christmas mode since this is a Christmas craft fair that I'm going to. Hers she did as a fall theme. So we have Farm Fresh Christmas trees. This is a waterfall that we will put in to put our pictures on. And I use double-sided paper so that I already have the decorative paper in here. And then I put a saying down here. You can choose to cover that with a picture if you want, or you can leave it there. I chose to close mine with a ribbon that we tie in a bow. There's other ways you can close your waterfalls. I'm sure you've seen them on other channels. But this is how I chose to do this one. Okay. Let me get this out of the way. I'll get everything we need and we will get started. Okay, the things you will need. You'll need a sew it in kit for sewing in that booklet if you choose to do it that way. This is the art glitter glue. No glitter in it. It's just the name of the glue. A punch. I used a bigger punch on the other one, but I have a small punch we'll use today. Ribbon if you choose to use that for your closure. Scor tape. And then a long punch. Now, Amber and, a bone folder. You also will need a cutting board to cut your papers and a scoreboard to score them. Now my chipboard, you need one piece that measures 8 inches by 1 inch. You need a piece that measures 8 inches by 5 inches, and a piece that is 8 inches by 6 inches. And that's for our cover. Then we need three pieces of 8.5 and by 11 white paper for our background. If you choose a different color background, you most certainly can do that. I also have my template for where I am going to mark or cut for my sewing in. Amber did hers with all cardstock, so she just, I think, stapled hers in. This is my cover. And once you cover your cover, you can measure to see what size you need for that. I also have my spine pieces there. Then we need 8 pieces that are 5 7/8 by 4 1/2. And you are going to score them on the 5 7/8 side. So make sure if you're using directional paper that you are going the right direction. So like this is going to be in the front, this will be in the back. That's not really directional, so that's okay. Same with this one. This is the direction it should go. That's not directional. Here we have another one with houses with a winter scene. Not directional on the back. Same here. Same here. And so on and so forth. So you want to make sure your directional papers are going the correct way. And then I have an extra piece that I will probably put at the back in order to cover up the bottom there of that waterfall. Then for our pockets, we need one piece that's 6 by 4 1/2, a piece that is 6 by 6, and a piece that is 6 by 7 1/2. And we're going to score these on 3 sides. Make sure you score the bottom side on your directional paper the correct way on all 3 of these. Then for our inner booklet, we need 4 pieces that are 7 1/2 by 10, and you are going to score them in the middle at 5 so that they are scored in half. And these are the pieces I chose from the collection I'm using. All right, so first things first, we're going to get our pieces done here. So this is 8 going up and down. This is not going to be enough room to fold. So we're going to take 2 pieces, put them side by side like this so that we can get everything on the fold. Oops. And I just realized I also need a pencil. Did not put in that in my packet. Here we go. And a ruler for the way I like to put my albums together. This is basically like putting an album together. So first off, we are going to put our Scor Tape along the one edge of our paper here. And this is 65-pound cardstock. You don't want to use anything heavier than that because you can end up with it cracking, and you don't want that. Even with 65 pounds, sometimes it decides to crack. So, all right, we're gonna smooth that down, burnish it in there, and put the one piece that we're using for our inside piece away. Grab our pokey tool and pull the tape off. Well, the tape cover, I should say. And we're going to line this up best we can so that it's even. And burnish that down. All right, so now what I like to do is I take my ruler. Don't know, I'm getting out of frame, I'm afraid. Move some of this stuff out of the way. And I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna, this is about 1 inch between these two. I line it up nice and straight and draw a line. And I do that this other way also to make sure I'm getting everything nice and straight. All right. Now we're going to start with our spine. That's 8 by 1.5. We're going to use our art glitter glue. And I use the metal tip on the end so that I don't get too much glue. And we're going to just glue this down, maybe. There we go. Art glitter glue dries really fast. If you don't get your pin back in there fast enough, it will dry in the small little tip that is on the end of it. Okay, line this up straight as you can and put it on down. Got my album spacer here. I told you before I use that to make sure I have enough room between. It's 2 chipboards with a cereal box weight chipboard between it. This we want first our 8 by 5.5. This is going to be the front of our cover, so when we go this way, we want this one on this side. I don't know why this is not wanting to work today. If you don't want to use glue, you can go ahead and use your Scor Tape for this. It just, I like it because it gives me a couple seconds to get things straight before it totally glues down. You want to make sure you line up with your bottom line here. And then our 8 by 6 on the other side here. Use our spacer again and line up with our bottom line. Okay. So some of you are probably wondering why I did this side here with the line. It's because if this were big enough, I would have to start over there. I usually start on that side if I'm using a 12 by 12 sheet of paper to make sure I don't run out of room. With this, I want my seam in the middle of the back spine. Gives less stress on it, and so it will make it a lot easier to keep it from splitting there when I am doing this using my album. So now I'm just going to cut off all this excess paper we don't need, and you can do that with a paper cutter if you want to do it that way, Sometimes that's more fight than it's worth, so I'm going to just use my scissors to cut off the excess. Again, I try and cut this as straight as possible so that the inside of my album looks nice and neat. Okay, this all out of the way. Next step, we're going to put score tape down on the edges of this paper. I'm going to go up as far on that edge as you can. Do this on all four sides. We're going to take our bone folder and get that all burnished down. Okay, now we're going to carefully start to bend our fibers. Get them used to going to bend. Doing this slow and gently helps prevent cracking of your paper, which is really what we want to kind of prevent right now. Okay, we got a side here that's not sticking. You can hear it cracking at me. So are you all doing craft fairs this year? What is your plan for the next few months? Are you going to craft fairs? Are you going to be selling at them? What is your plan and what are you selling? Okay, now we're gonna cut our diagonals on the corners for those. So you want to leave a little bit to push in so that your card chipboard is not showing. Still working that fibers. I don't want them to crack. I hate it when they crack. All right, so now we are gonna take off this bottom tape cover and we are gonna slowly go up from the middle and put our paper down and burnish it in place. Do the same with the other side. and burnish it down. Now, on the ends, you want to push that in, so when it folds up and over, it covers that chipboard. Okay, and up and out, and again burnish. Same thing here. Looks like I might have a bit of a problem on this side. Let's see if that's going to cover okay. And up and out. I have to make sure that our next paper covers this good. Honestly, I'd never hardly ever have this happen. I'm usually pretty careful that it doesn't. Let me pull out one of these corners. Okay, so we're going to put this down to try and cover that. We'll also be covering with that outer paper, but I'm not sure it's going to go clear to the edge. This may end up being the one that I use as a promo at the fair. I usually like to put out samples for them to see what's inside the packages, because I package everything. I don't like having people opening everything and getting things dirty. You never know, you know, if they've been drinking and didn't wash their hands, or eating and didn't wash their hands, or little kids come along and are curious. So I like to have one that's kind of a demo model sitting there so that they can see what they're getting. Okay, so now I need to measure, and I need to write it down because my brain does not hang on to measurements or numbers for very long. So this is we're going to use a full piece of paper going this way because it's 11.5 and it's going to barely fit on there. So what we need to know is how tall to make it. And we're 8 inches tall, so we're going to go like 8 3/4 or 8 7/8. So we're going to cut that out. Or not 8 7/8, 7 7/8. See how that's going to fit on there. I think that'll be okay. If I can get it on straight. We all know how my eyes are not straight. I think I'm going to go a little bit less than that because I'm gonna go 7 3/4 just to be safe. Okay, now we're gonna put score tape all around this piece. I'll set this off to the side for a minute. All right, now we're going to go around here on the inside of our cover. We're also going to go here. So if you remember, this is where our book likes to buckle when we go and start to bend it. And we're going to go one in the middle here. Keep things from buckling. All right, now we're going to burnish all of that down, both here and on our outer sheet. Or I should say inner sheet, but burnish it all down. Okay, now we're going to burnish this one all down. All right, time to take off all the tape covers. Okay, we're going to set this off to the side while we take the tape off this. All right, now I'm gonna get out of frame a little, and you may see the top of my head a little here, but need to get this on here good and straight. Okay. And gonna burnish all this down. Okay, next now we're going to do our waterfall. You take your 5 7/8 by 4 1/2 by 8, and you go ahead and fold them on the score line and burnish. Get a nice crisp fold on that. Oops. And I already decided what order I want them to go in, so I am leaving them in that order as I get them folded. Now, one thing too I like to do is I like to round my corners so they don't get kind of dog-eared. So you can use whatever corner rounder you have, or I have a Crocodile. So I will be using that to round my corners. And I want to do that before I put it in the book. It's just easier. This is going to be the bottom page. I'm going to go ahead and round that one too, so it's ready to go if I decide to use it. All right, so we're going to take our first sheet here. We're going to put our art glitter glue on here, and then we're going to go up as far as we can here. Let's work on folding this first. Okay, I'm going to pull this probably out of frame for a little bit. Need to get up to the corner here as close as you can. Now that's a little too close over there. Get over here more. That's not straight. Okay. And that's not over to the side enough. Tell you, having that bag corner there is not helping me at all. Okay, I think that will work. Now you take each one and you go up as close as you can to the one above it. Watching to keep your waterfall straight. A little off kilter there. We do this for each one. Okay, this last piece here is just a tidge long. So I'm going to cut a tiny bit off of this edge here. That's better. And then I will re-round that corner. And we will get this one glued in. All right, so you can see it's important to get that first one straight. Mine's just a little off because it makes it a lot easier putting the rest of the waterfall in if your first piece is absolutely straight. Okay, now we're going to go over to do the pockets, and we need to get those folded on their score lines. And the first one is 6 by 4.5. That's our smallest one. And these pockets you can use to put any mementos in that you want. This one's 6 by 6. I just love this little girl doing laundry. I think that's so cute. Hanging the Christmas stockings up to dry. And this one I really like. It has all the writing on it, but we're going to miss most of that. Hide a lot of it, which is a little bit heartbreaking, but is what it is. Okay, I have them all done like that. Now we're going to go and we're going to put just a half circle in at the top so that anything we put down in there we can easily get out. Do your best, just kind of eyeball the center to put the half circle in. All right, so we're going to start with this one, and you're going to do pretty much the same thing with all three of them. You're going to cut to miter your corners again on your pocket to get rid of that excess bulk that you do not need. So we're going to just put a little bit of glue here at the bottom. When I miter mine, I have enough room that I can actually fold the top part over and put it down so it is easier to put down on the page. Okay, and then we're going to put our glue all the way around on the flaps. And again, you want to go up to the edge, as high up as you can go. Pretty much, you can leave a little bit of a border there, but you want to stay away from this center fold. Okay, we'll do the same thing with the middle size one. A little bit of glue on that corner line. Push it down. Hopefully you can get enough of a grip there that it makes it easier to put this down. Okay, and I glue on our flaps. Okay, and this one you're going to go down a little bit from that one. And you're going to line up even with it, but I think I want to leave some of that Santa showing. And then our last one, which is going to go clear to the bottom. Okay, and we'll leave this open to dry. And next week we will do the cover and sewing in our pages. So I will see you next time, and happy crafting, everyone.